Happy Friday, everyone. We're going to talk about a bunch of smaller, short news that's in the mining sector. Kind of get back to basics a little bit here in the summer, get caught up with some news. Of course, can't forget to mention that gold and silver, a little bit of a pullback there, especially in silver. A lot of volatility in that one lately, for sure. Of course, there's lots of reasons why. I always kind of chuckle whenever you read an article that says, silver down due to easing issues with China. It's like, well, maybe. There's also a major supply chain issue underway, never mind the fact that issues in the Middle East, which would affect both gold and silver to go up. Maybe that's having an effect. I don't know. There's so many millions of things that could be happening, or maybe not millions, but hundreds of factors affecting these markets that it's rarely just as simple as that. And sometimes it's just simply someone made a trade or someone's trade rolled off or an option's expired. So in any event, we still remain quite confident in that with everything that's happening around the world, chaos still remains there. Nothing's settling down anytime soon. And that's why you need to have precious metals. You need that security, and nothing has performed stronger in the last 7 years of uncertainty than both of those. And we continue to hold on, and we expect it to do well. Now let's jump into our first little story here. We're going to talk about Barrick and Mali, and it's not that I'm picking up Barrick because it's a great company and it's sustained very well. It hasn't done as well as its peers, but it's doing quite well, all things considered. Year to date, it's up I think 26%. So the market is still pretty happy with it, even though their Loulo Gounkoto gold project or complex, it's more than just a project, it's a complex, which is 14% of its global output, is completely under provisional state control by the Malayan court over this unpaid taxes claim. So that's pretty serious. This is escalated again. They've launched a call for arbitration. If you'll remember, Mali had detained staff as well, other companies as well. This is, we're going to talk about briefly about another project that we like that happens to be in Africa where no issues, no problems. But this can happen, right? If you're in challenging, political environments, these things can happen, and they happen quickly and without remorse. Now, on top of that, there was talk that Barrick might move to New York, move head office. Nothing is announced, certainly. It's still earlier this year. It was Mark Bristow who brought it up. Maybe it's under consideration. I think it's still more of a possibility than really set as a plan to do this. But with the tariffs and whatnot, and with, once again, a lot of uncertainty in Canada, like, are you open for business or not? Because if the U.S. is going to be the driving force, if they're going to be open for business, then I don't fault anyone. We're seeing tons of just medium-size to high-end size businesses go to the U.S. right now anyway. Because once again, why would I stay? Because you go, out of patriotism. Well, no, because there is, if you voted to go a certain direction, you voted against patriotism. The idea of Canada as to what it was is long gone. So I don't know what you'd be patriotic towards. And they're still trying to define as to what that is and what might look like with this new understanding of what Canada is supposed to be. In any event, there'll be no reason to stay. And I think that's what you're finding is a lot of businesses are heading down south or heading to other markets because it's unsustainable. So, I think that, once again, we're lucky to have someone who isn't unaware of this, wouldn't have that as an excuse to understand how the economy works or how finance works, to not do the right thing here in Canada. But in any event, Barrick they've done well. They've done pretty well, all things considering, because that is 14% of all your production. It's a significant amount. So, from year to date, say beginning of January 1st, I think they're down around like 23.01, and they're sitting at $29. So it's fared pretty well, all things considered. We're going to do a bit of an article just talking about all the major producers, because obviously they've done spectacularly. And once again, gold is doing great. A lot of these companies are getting a bit more efficient. Inflation has come back down. the inflation already hit, right? So the cost of everything went up, but I think we're finding a bit more efficiencies now in a lot of mining companies, and they're really settling into this new price bracket. And I think most people feel confident that price of gold is still going up. We had that one oddball. Who was it again? Was it CIBC World Markets, or was it, I can't remember the bank. We talked about it last week, who had an under 3,000 call, but everyone else still sees that there's a big upside here for gold. Next one I want to jump into, it's a bit of a jump. I'm going to jump around a bit before we talk about some other exploration news out there. But this is interesting because I like to cover interesting news stories anyway that tie into our whole theme. And NASA has confirmed that a giant dam in China, and I've confirmed this, has shifted the Earth's axis and affected the length of days. Like, wait a second. What? Yeah. The Three Gorges Dam at the Yangtze River, it contains or holds back roughly 10 trillion gallons of water. And experts at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center say that this weight has physically shifted Earth's rotational axis by nearly 2 centimeters, roughly 3/4 of an inch. The state-of-the-art dam there has allows ships to be lifting ships of about 6,600 tons to a vertical height of 330 feet. I mean, so there's a number of ways to look at that. One is, what an incredible feat of engineering. Like, astonishing. Like, if you feel down and blue and you think, oh, where's the world heading? Sometimes you can look at some of these projects and go, there are some really smart people out there. Like, it's incredible to be able to do this. It's absolutely astounding, incredible. And most of this you're going to find in China, and not because of any other reason other than they can. To get projects done in anywhere in the West, exceptionally difficult. We certainly have the engineering ability. We certainly have the intellect and the know-how and the technology to be able to pull off incredible projects like we once did. But the issue is that we would just get too many people who will stop it. And the reasons are long listed reasons, whether it's because of the environment, whether it's because you don't want economic growth in the West, whether you want this type of ideology or that type of ideology, or whether you're another company trying to sabotage another company. Unfortunately, we've developed our economy and our freedom of choice and expression and movements to such an extent that, people can stop projects and stop really big, amazing feats of incredible achievements that we once attained are now being limited at massive levels. For largely, I would say, not great reasons. Now, this one might be a bit more of an interesting reason, because sure, it sounds like that isn't a lot. Like, okay, 3/4 of an inch. Like, but wait a second, that's the entire planet. Like, that's 10 trillion gallons of water. It's staggering. So if you have interest, go check out our YouTube channel and go take a peek at it. It's huge. It's massive. And I still find it, although it's troubling to think that you could actually shift the Earth's axis, is the ability to terraform or to create and to engineer like that. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it is really amazing. The other one we'll lead with two here, because we talked about Stellantis and the issues they're having, and no, they're not going bankrupt. Ford did come out. Their CEO did come out. The CEO is Jim Farley. He did come out and he said it's day to day right now. They've had to shut down factories, largely due to supply chain issues, and they're stating the rare earth situation as being a main driver of that. I mean, there's lots of shipments of goods that are being held up. Whether, once again, it's Middle East, it's from China because of the tariffs. And then, of course, the larger than the tariff reason is the overall fact that China dominates most of the production of all of the critical things that we need. And there's two ways to look at that. Either hurry up and start building those out, those supply chains, or continue fighting, and it's going to be challenging. This is where we had said before, you're not really in a fight with anyone if they control it. So yeah, they're having a bit of a scrap, but really, how much? Because if they decide to shut down and say, no, we're not giving you any of the core critical metals that you need to process and make any of your technology, it doesn't matter if we move all our chip makers over here. It'll take years for them to implement policies and plans to try to open up all sorts of mines to get the supply chain going. And you can imagine, once again, you get back to, and if you're to do that, it would take an authoritarian state, because at every step of the way, you'd have people stopping that order to allow things to get done. And I mean, we know that here in Canada, if they had tried to put a pipeline in, they'd have people trying to blow it up. You'd have all these types of factions of people that would be running around doing things. So we live in a very strange time. If that you'd think the people that are out there arguing and trying to stop a growth of a lot of these things, they don't seem to understand that that's the solution. It's mind-boggling. In any event, what do you do? What can you do? But it's interesting because, once again, all these stories tie together. And it's not just about infrastructure and about trade and about shipping lines. It's the fact that if you don't have access to your natural resources, or if you don't even have them, we've got a ton that we don't utilize. There's countries out there that don't even have access to all of these minerals. They're really left kind of going, we're at the mercy of whomever. We're sitting on literally riches that we could get if we so choose. And we have seen good, once again, it's where the plans aren't there yet. I know that the federal government has put out I think it's Bill C5. It's the kind of the One Nation plan or something of that degree. We haven't gone into it in depth, but it sounds like this type of idea where the feds would have control over forcing projects to get done. I know some people in different provinces say, well, I don't like the sound of that. And I said, well, if there's forcing projects to get done, that's not a bad thing. That means they want to do projects. I'm more worried about them forcing projects not getting done. That's what it's been for the last 6 or 7 years, is trying to stop projects from getting done. So we'll look at that a little bit more depth in our Substack. So make sure you go check out over there. But let's jump into just some of the news floating out there. We like talking about Goliath Resources. They just finished a $23 million bought deal. Fantastic. 40,000 meters of drilling with 9 rigs. That's going to be going through the Gold Digger Sherbet project in BC. Great news. That's great. Stifel, CIBC, Cormark were all the institutional bankers on that. This, once again, shows very serious confidence in the project. Once again, we're always looking for indicators. There's no sure things until you see actual assays. Then you've got the truth machine. But we've got tons of data, tons of truth machine. Things are looking very good there. And in this kind of market, in Canada especially, to get $23 million raised, that's outstanding. It bodes well for them. Now, it was a charity flow-through, so it's fully funded. And I think the pricing of it is $317 as a charity flow-through. So once again, for the flow-through, the great thing with that too is that if you're looking at the company, that has to go in the ground. That's one of the great things about charity flow-through. There's good and bad. You get a tax write-off, or certainly they get a tax write-off for investing in it. But every penny goes into the ground. You don't have to ask, is this going to marketing? Is it going to G&A? Where is this being spent? Are you traveling? Are you buying steaks? No, it goes all into the ground. And people like to see that. You don't have to ask too many questions then about how it's getting spent whenever you know it's mandated to go in the ground. So great news there. Silver 47 and Summa, they closed almost 7 million, 6.9 ahead of a merger. And, smart timing. Front load capital ahead of a merger, not after. That's interesting. That deal structure seems to be, showing some confidence in regards to that. None of the money gets to the company until the merger is met. The warrants are priced well above the market. So lots of interesting things there. We don't cover a lot of either one of those, but it's an interesting story. It's a good start. It's a good kind of angle to be looking at if one is looking at them. But it seems to be the market's reacting well to that. Next Gold had some good results here at Goldboro. We've had them on before. They hit 1.6 grams per ton gold over 36.8 meters. That's great. They released 11 new infill drill holes. It was a 25,000 meter drill program. This was the highlight. That they included a 53.57 gram per ton spike over 0.6 of a meter. So good. So that was good. The program was 30% reported. People will be watching with lots of attention to see what else is from those rest of the assays coming in. But this is solid. It's solid, consistent results for an infill. It isn't certainly, it's not going to move this kind of market a lot. It's not staggering, but hey, listen, that's good. If you're building a model and you're de-risking a model, that's pretty solid. So it's meaningful and worth mentioning. Lundin, which we like, they're targeting top 10 producer status with that Philo purchase. And their goal is to reach 500,000 tons of copper and 550,000 ounces of gold annually in 3 to 5 years. So it's this Chile and in Brazil. A lot will come from this Filo del Sol and their Jose Maria project. Yeah, that's looking quite good. Copper, of course, just to backtrack a bit, we remember that Barrick has kind of changed its name, or it's certainly the ticker symbol, to include the fact that they're looking at copper as well, and that's a great thing. We like gold, but copper, people are really coming to terms with the fact that if you want to do any of this electrical future, the amount of copper is staggering. And we're going to need to see a lot of copper plays. And yeah, we love copper. So it's good to see this project doing so well and a good company. And we're going to be watching it. It's, showing, serious, that they're serious about mine life, and the margins are looking good. So yeah, they've got $2 billion in free cash flow under the base case scenario, I guess they're saying. But anyways, it's a nice one to follow and to keep an eye on. And as I had mentioned before, BC has unveiled a strategy to attract billions in mining investment. And here's some of the quick hits. They're acknowledging that the importance of critical metals. But here's what the issue always is that what's your signal? You can't have opposing signals, which is really what some of this is we want lots of investment with balancing growth, indigenous partnerships, and environmental protection. Well, what do you mean by that? Because those can mean two of those can mean no project, like right off the bat. So how much power do some of these things have? And that's always been the issue here with Canada, is if you're trying to pull off the DEI ESG thing, it's exceptionally difficult. Because if your whole focus is a political ideology, that's not, and it's not, certainly that political ideology is not an open market capitalist kind of scenario. That is hard to entice a lot of money. And we've seen some of the kind of simmering down of the extreme left talk and talking points, but you're not going to get, you're going to have to define exactly what you mean. And hopefully they do have projects picked out. And I think if people see that things are being permitted quickly, they're getting done efficiently and quickly, that'll be the proof is in the pudding. But if it's more of just talk, like, hey, we need to balance this and that, it doesn't mean anything. And I know that sounds very harsh, but really you need to see, are you serious? Are you getting work done? If it's able that some nonprofit is able to stop your project and put it into court for 2 to 5 years, that's not very serious. You have to be able to get these minerals out of the ground. And once again, this doesn't mean that you don't do it to environmental standards. It almost in all cases, these are done to standard. It's the fact that there's so much red tape, there's so much redundancy, there's so much purposeful stoppage of projects. That's really the issue here. It isn't that there's concerns over, what about this and that. The amount of work, like we've gone over this a number of times, the amount of environmental science people, geologists that work on these projects that do all of the things before a mine even gets going is incredible. Like Canada is very well known for it. It's not moving anywhere if they don't pass those things. So it isn't that they're not getting done. They are getting done. I know that the news makes it sound like, this could be dangerous. Most of it is just political ideology, and that's unfortunate. And we have to get past the talking points of, at least, and believe me, I'm grateful that the talking points are, we need to get these out of the ground. But now we need to really make that hold them to it and say, now, are you actually getting it out of the ground? And that's going to be the proof in the pudding. And if we can, it's going to provide a ton of jobs. It's going to provide a ton of revenue to the government as well. All the stakeholders will do just fine. Right now, the mining sector is up 4,000 jobs since 2017, 40,000 workers averaging $140,000 a year. That's really good. So if you want to encourage young people to have a bit of hope, and they think I could have a very cool job, that's solving the issue regarding climate, but also you're working in something that is that very true balance of doing things properly and effectively. Like, you're going to have to love a lot of bright people to manage, getting mines up and running and manage the environmental side. If you want something stimulating and you're very smart and you want to, have a purposeful job, I can't think of anything better. I mean, it's really right up there, because you have to get this stuff. It's not a matter of, I wonder if we have to. If it's not coming from Canada, it's coming from somewhere else. And we've got plenty of bright people that would love to work and that would love to solve some of these problems and love to mitigate a lot of these issues. And once again, everyone's probably sick of me saying it and cheerleading that we do have a track record, which is outstanding, is very good, and an incredible workforce, lots of talented, bright people, and we just need to unleash them. We see Asante Gold secured $206 million bought deal as part of a $470 million financing package with BMO, Claris, Jet Capital. So this is a senior and mezzanine debt, a gold stream deal, and it's looking at development of the Bibiani and Chirano mines, cash payment to Kinross Gold, and debt repayment and working capital. So quite a big deal there. That's a massive capital raise. Shows a lot of confidence in Asante's future. And now they have the runway. It's not just survival money. They've got a runway and a path forward, and that's exciting. Involving Kinross and APN adds institutional strength and strategic alignment with majors. So another very interesting deal to be looking at, and big news. And we'll finish off the last one with one that we really like that doesn't, they're not out there a lot. There's not a ton of news, but Fort Minerals, they just closed $2.69 million private placement. Once again, that's great in a very challenging market. We've had them on a number of times. We love what they're up to. There is a longer focus. They've got incredible projects. If you look back at some of the interviews we've done with them, a very interesting company doing great work. And once again, it's the ability of people to be able to watch on projects to get them at key times is a big skill. And they've certainly done that. And they're holding on to a couple projects that we'll go talk about in the Substack as well. In any event, everyone, have a great long weekend. It's a rainy one here, but you know what? I'm not in BC anymore, so we need it here in Calgary. The rain is good. It's been very dry. It's been very warm, so it's good to see a bit of rain here. And in any event, everyone, happy Friday, and we'll talk to you next week. All the best.